The Trump-Vance campaign is in Georgia for a rally today, while Harris meets with her potential VP picks this weekend. The Harris campaign has just 4 days left to choose the VP. NewsNation is digging into the 6 candidates competing for a spot on the Democratic ticket this November. And a stunning reversal, a controversial plea deal revoked by Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin. The 3 suspects accused of plotting the September 11th attacks now facing the death penalty once again. Plus, historic wildfires ravaging the West Coast right now.
It's not done, but we are still making good progress on containing the fire.
While crews are struggling to contain nearly 5,000 fires across half a dozen states. But first, more on our top story this hour. The push for Georgia is on. Trump and Vance holding a rally in the coveted battleground state later today. The former president saying this rally will be Vice President Harris's, quote, worst nightmare come true. The event will be taking place at the same arena Harris held a big event earlier this week herself. Trump has agreed to debate Harris on Fox News next month. It would be in lieu of the ABC debate originally scheduled against President Biden before he dropped out of the presidential race. But the Harris team is not on board, saying the former president needs to stop playing games and show up to the debate he had already committed to on September 10th on ABC. Only time will tell how this will all shake out. Plus, as Mr. Trump gears up for his rally, the big question remains, who will Harris choose as her VP? Ms. Harris is meeting with candidates this weekend. Among them include Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro, Senator Mark Kelly from Arizona, and Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear. But speculation spreads after a post from Philadelphia Mayor Sherelle Parker. She said she was supporting Harris as president and Governor Josh Shapiro for vice president. The Philadelphia Inquirer reporting the mayor was just showing support for her longtime friend and not announcing that he is the official pick. Ms. Harris is expected to reveal her choice any day now, ahead of a major 7-swing state tour. A back and forth between former President Trump and VP Harris over a debate. Harris putting on the pressure by telling Mr. Trump to appear and stop wavering if he wants to debate. He wants the debate, however, to be on Fox News. VP Harris releasing a statement clapping back at Mr. Trump, saying, quote, Donald Trump is running scared and trying to back out of the debate he already agreed to and running straight to Fox News to bail him out. He needs to stop playing games and show up to the debate he already committed to back on September 10th. We spoke to our political panel to break down the latest on the presidential race. Take a listen. Should we read anything into the fact that they're actually having this campaign in Philadelphia on Tuesday?
I think so. I think it being just a little more than 90 days out of the election, every single step that they take is intentional. We know now how much Pennsylvania means, the Keystone State, to both parties. And we know that Joe Biden, having strong ties to that state, planned on or intended to win it. And Kamala has to pick up the slack, especially with all the fracking conversation about how she might have flip-flopped from 2019 to her stance today. So I do think that perhaps that's a sticking point that the Trump campaign is going to surely come at her on, and picking someone from Pennsylvania would be ideal. And we've seen that whole back and forth between Trump and VP Harris over a debate. Harris putting on the pressure, but Trump appears to waver. Now he says he wants it on Fox News. Do you think we'll end up seeing that face-off? Well, I don't know that Harris will agree to do it on Fox News, but I do think that they should debate. There's so much to talk about because Kamala will be a historical first, and that's a reason to be very tuned into this election. But we need to have conversations about policies, and we've been talking so much over the last 2 weeks about her stepping into the race, who her VP candidate will be, and then now Trump at NABJ and his comments about her race. We haven't actually talked about the issues, and so I think the American people are excited to have a debate between them too, where we have coherent conversation about what the actual next steps are, like we did not have at the last debate. Seth, is it possible for the former president to be coherent and stay on message when he clearly is aware that VP Harris and her campaign announcing that they've raked in $310 million in the month of July with $377 million cash on hand? Seth, that's a tough row to hoe.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. I agree with Lindsay in terms of the focus on issues needing to be prominent. But with your question, I think Trump has to balance his usual approach of attack and ad hominem attacks at times, but also dealing with the issues that are on the minds of voters, like immigration, crime, and the economic issues as well. So those are the issues that I think have to get played out.
Seth, on immigration, Mr. Trump at that NABJ convention, I was there, and you heard Lindsay mention his appearance just a few seconds ago. At one point, he talked about immigration is also a problem because those who are coming into the country steal black jobs. Is this messaging resonating with the voters he says he wants to woo?
Well, I think that's a great question. And let's keep in mind, there were three segments that are key to this election who he has to woo, and so does VP Harris. The first one are suburban women, Nikki Haley supporters, who were very unwilling to support Trump. But now the question is, will they support Harris? They certainly didn't get enthused about supporting Biden. The second, I think, key audience that he's got to go for are African Americans. The question is that will African Americans show up for Harris in a way they wouldn't have for Biden? And I think the third audience is young people. I think from my research, Nick, young people, when it was Biden versus Trump, young people were intent on sitting out this election, many of them. Now the question is, will young people come out for Harris? So those three audiences, I think, are what they need to focus on.
Lindsay, I'm sure you saw the same things that I did, and you had friends sending you DMs like, did you hear that? Did you see that? And Lindsay, you and I both know, and Seth as well, that we are seeing a number of young African-American celebrities supporting the former president. Lindsay, is his messaging breaking through?
Well, I think Trump's complete strategy has been disrupted. I know earlier this year when he was going against Biden, the conversation was that he was going to be more calm and reserved, unlike past election seasons. And then he got into this election and, you know, Kamala became the nominee, and he was supposed to go off on her about being a border czar and talk about some policy things. And then we talked about race at NABJ. And although we can't get inside of Trump's head and know whether that was planned or a mistake, it does seem like a missed opportunity because he had a chance to talk to a room full of people who ask all the questions that Black people will read into and listen to. And he didn't talk in detail about anything that would matter to Black voters or get them rallied up. The economy is really impactful and deeply impacts Black community a lot more than some other communities, just because we know how systematic problems work in our country. And so I think that he missed an opportunity and railed off on Rachel Scott and made that the intention of the conversation to be meeting with that energy as opposed to answering real questions. I think, what he does, and we know that he does well, is take a slogan and repeat it over and over again, like Crooked Hillary, that's stuck in voters' minds. And that is a strategy. And now we see that Kamala has stolen his strategy, calling him weird, and that's starting to stick in people's head. And he's calling her Laughing Kamala or Border Czar, and those things aren't landing as well as past strategies and names that he had for other candidates. So I don't know that his campaign is really working this time.
Right. It seems like whereas it may steal the headlines, it's not sure whether or not it is actually effective. But Lindsay, Trump has been pushing back on Democratic attacks that he and his running mate, Ohio Senator J.D. Vance, are, quote, weird. Let's take a listen to that soundbite that you just mentioned.
Well, they're the weird ones, and if you've ever seen her with the laugh and everything else, that's a weird deal going on there. They're the weird ones. Nobody's ever called me weird. I'm a lot of things, but weird I'm not.
He and his running mate sure seem to have a lot to say about me. Don't you find some of their stuff to just be plain weird?
We just heard Harris repeat that attack, and it's something we've heard other top Democrats use when talking about Mr. Trump, particularly Tim Walz. Does that kind of messaging resonate with voters? Lindsay?
Look, Kamala is not taking the Michelle Obama approach of when they go low, we go high. Kamala is going hard. I take that from my friend who just wrote an article for Essence this weekend. Like, she is going repeatedly using what Trump has done historically against him, and he doesn't like it. We're talking about name calling, specific stuff. It's almost like she hired the person from Wendy's to handle her campaign Twitter with some of these attacks on J.D. Vance and other people. And so I think that, her team is being really strategic in trying to secure that young vote that you were talking about, because people are entertained by this conversation, even though it's not getting into the details and the nitty gritty about where she stands on Israel or where she stands on the economy. It is making younger people pay attention. So I think it is one strategy that we'll see how effective it is on that particular group down the line.
And Seth, questioning her biracial identity, and it could just be us because the three of us work in this space, but we know so many people who are biracial, and I did not know that being biracial is necessarily a pejorative.
I think that it's a great point because it points out that Trump is really from a generation where that didn't understand just how biracial the country has become. So many Americans now consider themselves biracial. I mean, let's not forget that one of the favorite apps is to find out where your genes come from. You know, those types of things have become a wave of popularity, understanding things like biracial. So I don't think Trump's message of biracial will hurt Harris. I do think, though, to Lindsay's point, the use of the weird slogan is directly from Trump's playbook, trying to take a label and making it stick very well, like Trump has done so often to his opponents.
And we know that VP Harris, Seth, needs the voters that abandoned Hillary. Will she be able to snatch those from Trump, or will Mr. Trump be able to take those back again?
I think that's fundamentally the key issue here. And I think there are three to focus on: Nichole Berlie supporters, African Americans, and young people. Those are we should listen to every message from both candidates with those three audiences in mind, because in the swing states, those three undecided groups will decide this election.
NewsNation contributor Lindsey Granger and political analyst Seth David Radwell, thank you both so much. Well, a plea deal between the U.S. and three of the suspected masterminds behind the deadliest attack on American soil is now off. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin revoked a plea agreement reached earlier this week with three of the accused masterminds behind the terrorist attack. The deal was set to take the death penalty off the table for Khalid Sheikh Mohammed and two other terrorists. This deal was highly criticized by the families of the victims, citing too many unanswered questions. NewsNation's Alicia Nieves is live in New York City for us. Alicia, what is your reporting telling you on why this deal actually fell through?
Yeah, Nick, as you noted in the last hour, this deal seemed solid about 24 hours ago, but it really has been 3 days of a lot of pressure, a lot of scrutiny on the Department of Defense that has led to the Department of Defense actually caving now, again, revoking the plea deal for these alleged masterminds behind the 9/11 attack. Now, the bulk of that pressure, of course, coming from families of the victims of 9/11. These family members upset on how they were notified of the deal, but also upset of the fact that the deal itself, Khalid Sheikh Mohammed and his alleged accomplices, would receive a deal that takes the death penalty off the table after their role in killing nearly 3,000 people on 9/11. All these men for decades now have been held in Guantanamo Bay, but Sheikh Mohammed, allegedly the man who actually brought the idea of flying commercial planes into the Twin Towers and other prominent U.S. locations to al-Qaeda. Now, while the families of these victims have been applying pressure for the last couple of days here, we've also heard from leaders in Congress who have been outraged and have been applying pressure, particularly Republican leaders. This is a scathing statement Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell actually released just after the initial news broke of the deal on Wednesday. He said, quote, "The Biden-Harris administration's cowardice in the face of terror is a national disgrace. The plea deal with terrorists, including those behind the 9/11 attack, is a revolting abdication of the government's responsibility to defend America and provide justice." Just after that as well, speaking on behalf of the families of 9/11 victims, here's what the 9/11 justice had to say on Vargas shortly after the deal was also announced on Wednesday.
We were strongly against any sort of deal that didn't involve us having access to these individuals. What we're worried about is that plea deals continue, this sort of kangaroo court, this sort of backdoor happenings where these deals get done and people are slapped on the back and swept under the rug without us having the ability to talk to them.
So again, after 3 days of intensive scrutiny and pressure, Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin released a memo overnight writing, quote, "I have determined that in light of the significance of the decision to enter into pretrial agreements with the accused, responsibility for such a decision should rest with me as the superior convening authority." Essentially, Secretary Austin saying there he pulled the deal, revoked the authority of the officers overseeing the military court who signed the agreement on Wednesday. It's important to note that right now, while this deal has been pulled, it doesn't mean that a deal is not on the table in the future. It's just a matter of protocol and policy now shifting to, if any deal comes in the future, it's going to have to be with a senior official like the Defense Secretary, Nick.
And it is possible that those detainees will spend the rest of their lives at Guantanamo Bay. Alicia Nieves, live in New York City. Yeah. Alicia, thank you so much. This morning, 4 Americans back on U.S. soil following a historic prisoner swap with Russia. The Kremlin released 16 people, including American journalist Evan Gershkovich and security executive Paul Whelan. But several Americans were left out of that deal and remain inside Russia this morning. Chris CUOMO spoke to the sister of Pennsylvania teacher Mark Fogel about that deal and her brother's future.
I don't believe that Mark was ever prioritized, and that is heartbreaking to me. He does not have the NBA behind him, and he doesn't have the Wall Street Journal behind him, and so it has been a uphill struggle to get his story told.
Fogel was taken into custody by Russian authorities back in 2021 after traveling with less than an ounce of medical marijuana, for which he says he had a prescription. President Biden has vowed to push for Fogel's release, saying, "We're not giving up." Breaking news, Florida is bracing for a dangerous storm surge coming from Tropical Depression 4. Mainly, the west coast of Florida will be impacted. Storm surge warnings are in effect right now. A tropical storm watch has been issued for the Tampa Bay area, and Mayor Jane Castor has declared a state of local emergency. And 1 year after massive wildfires ripped through the Hawaiian island of Maui, the parties involved have agreed to a $4 billion global settlement. In a lawsuit filed earlier this year, residents and business owners claimed Hawaiian Electric did not take safety precautions to prevent power lines from falling and sparking fires. More than 100 people were killed when wildfires tore through the island last August, destroying homes and businesses. Hawaiian Electric has not acknowledged any legal liability. For more on the impacts of those record hot temperatures, we have to turn to our meteorologist because wildfires have been battering parts of the West with thick smoke filling the air from Colorado to California. Crews have been working tirelessly to put out the massive fire in Northern California, spanning nearly 400,000 miles, impacting several counties. The Park Fire in Northern California only about 27% contained. NewsNation national correspondent Mills Hayes is here with us now. Mills, these fires continue to be a problem and still continue to be a threat to so many different communities.
They definitely are, Nick, and there's actually more than 90 different wildfires that are burning right now across the country, and climate scientists tell us that these fires are becoming increasingly problematic, and we have months to go before the end of wildfire season. On the West Coast, millions are dealing with extreme heat that only makes these wildfires worse. The National Park Service says between 84 to 97% of fires are caused by humans. Authorities believe that the Park Fire in Northern California is one of those fires caused by humans. It's now the fourth largest wildfire in California history, destroying over 400,000 acres, and it's about 27% contained at the moment. The man accused of starting the fire by pushing a burning car into a ravine faces intentional arson charges.
Somehow people that cause this kind of thing almost seem to get a slap on the wrist, and they haven't lost anything. They haven't lost everything they've owned. They didn't lose all their photos, all their memorabilia.
4 out of 5 of the largest wildfires in California history have all happened within the last 5 years. The largest ever happened in 2020 when over 1 million acres were destroyed. The California Department of Forestry and Fire Protection says that local, state, and federal partners are working together and updating their tactics to fight the fire.
You could hear the frustration in her voice that those who start these fires aren't the ones who lose everything there. But why do these fires continue to burn so ferociously right now, Mills?
Well, we're seeing record high temperatures, and we're also seeing really dry conditions out there. So those are really the perfect storm for those wildfires. So we've seen these fires spread, and it makes them really hard to put out when there are those dry conditions. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration say that the human-caused climate change has increased the dryness of all the burnable materials in the forest, like shrubs, branches, down trees. These warmer and drier conditions are contributing to much longer and more active fire seasons.
This goes back to why we continue to push for better weather for our firefighters. Mills, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Well, NewsNation is also following a weak jobs report, fueling fears about the economy. Well, is a recession on the way? Plus, justice for Jocelyn, how lawmakers are demanding accountability at the border. Plus, the U.S. is leading the world in total medals, which includes 11 gold medals. Joining me later will be an Olympian that won one. Talk to me.
Millions of people have lost weight with personalized plans from Noom, like Evan, who lost 50 pounds.
I never really was a salad guy. That's just not who I am. Even through the pickiness, Noom taught me that building better habits builds a healthier lifestyle.
Get started today and lose 15 pounds in 15 weeks.
Look, we know it's going to be a big change.
But it's the right thing to do for all of us.
It's just your mother and I want different things.
Which is why we got Sling TV.
So we can watch live and free TV all in one app?
That's right.
Dad gets live sports and news, and I get my reality shows.
And when we don't want to pay, your mom and I can still get hundreds of channels for free.
Sling is really keeping this family together.
You have no idea.
You have no idea.
Sling, the live TV you love. Sling.
Not every decision you make will be as good as getting a Volkswagen at the Savvy VW Summer Sales Event. 2024 Volkswagen models cost less to maintain than Honda.
Get 0.9% APR financing or a $3,500 customer bonus on the new 2024 Atlas or Atlas Cross Sport.
What the biggest companies deliver is exceptional customer experience. What makes it possible is unmatched connectivity and 5G solutions from T-Mobile for Business. T-Mobile connects 100,000 Delta Airlines employees, powers Tractor Supply stores nationwide with reliable 5G business internet, and helps Red Bull revolutionize coverage of live events. This is how business goes further with T-Mobile for Business.
When my doctor gave me Breztri for my COPD, things changed for me. Breztri gave me better breathing, symptom improvement, and reduced flare-ups.
Breztri won't replace a rescue inhaler for sudden breathing problems. It is not for asthma. Tell your doctor if you have a heart condition or high blood pressure before taking it. Don't take Breztri more than prescribed. Breztri may increase your risk of thrush, pneumonia, and osteoporosis. Call your doctor if worsened breathing, chest pain, mouth or tongue swelling, problems urinating, vision changes, or eye pain occur.
Ask your doctor about Breztri.
HomeGlow just cleaned my entire house for $19. Seriously, $19. They showed up right on time and did my dishes, my laundry, they even cleaned my windows. You just pick a date, pick a cleaner, and enjoy a spotless house for $19. I love using HomeGlow, and I think you will too.
I can feel the winds of change.
Allegiance Flag Supply believes American flags should be made in America.
Our symbol of freedom being produced outside our borders, that just did not sit right.
By choosing Allegiance Flag Supply, you're supporting American jobs in a 100% American supply chain.
When you fly an Allegiance flag, you're investing in our country's future.
Visit showallegiance.com to order your high-quality American-made flag today. That's showallegiance.com.
When you use Angie for your home projects, you know all your jobs will be done well. Roof repair? Done well. Emergency plumbing? Done well. So the next time you have a project, join the millions of homeowners who use Angie to care for their home. Get started at Angie.com.
This week on The Hill Sunday with Chris Steyerwalt, former Secretary of Defense William Cohen talks the historic prisoner swap and how U.S. relations with Russia will impact the 2024 election. Plus, Chris and the panel dig into the current Trump versus Harris polls. Sunday at 10/9 Central, only on NewsNation.
22 minutes after the hour. Texas Senator Ted Cruz is proposing a Justice for Jocelyn Act. It comes after officials say 12-year-old Jocelyn Nungria's body was found in a creek back in June. Police say the two murder suspects entered the U.S. illegally in March. They were arrested near El Paso and released with orders to appear in court at a later date. Cruz is proposing a new law to crack down on the Department of Homeland Security's alternative to detention. That allows migrants to be released despite their pending cases. NewsNation's Allie Bradley has more.
The two men that police say are responsible for the brutal murder of 12-year-old Jocelyn Nungri are two men here illegally from Venezuela who crossed into the United States earlier this year in the El Paso sector, and they actually were enrolled in the Alternatives to Detention program. One of those individuals was actually wearing an ankle monitor at the time of Jocelyn Nungri's killing. So Senator Ted Cruz, alongside Congressman Troy Nehls and family members of Jocelyn Nungri, spoke about the Justice for Jocelyn Act. Her mother, Alexis, was talking about urging support for this legislation in the name of her daughter.
All I have now left is to fight for Jocelyn, to fight for justice, and that is why I'm here today, because I refuse to let Jocelyn's memory fade, and I refuse to let her voice go unheard. I'm her voice now, so I will now never stop fighting for justice to be served for her.
Senator Cruz saying that 3,000 detention beds were available with ICE but were left empty. The proposed legislation will crack down on ATD. It would require every ICE detention bed be filled, and if they are all filled, it would require the DHS secretary to make every attempt possible to keep illegal immigrants in custody while their cases play out. Now, if someone has to be released to the program, this legislation would require that they would be subject to continuous 24-hour GPS monitoring until either their removal from the country or the completion of all immigration proceedings. This act would also allow immigration officials to immediately deport anyone who violates the terms of their release. Now, when it comes to the state of the current ATD program, DHS sources confirmed to NewsNation that they are slowly transitioning the program from GPS ankle monitors to an app and smartwatch with a tamper strap that sources say can easily be cut off, just like those ankle monitors. Data that we have seen shows that there are currently more than 175,000 migrants enrolled in the ATD program, but only 17,000 of them have that GPS monitor. The remainder have a phone app or that watch. The former acting ICE director, Ron Vitello, telling NewsNation's Marni Hughes that a big issue is with prioritizing who gets a bed with ICE and who doesn't. If they can't be removed to Venezuela, for example, they likely wouldn't get a bed. Vitello says this is a matter of public safety, and they should be held regardless of where they are from. Now, both men in this case, when it comes to Jocelyn Nungary, are facing capital murder charges. They're both being held on $10 million bail. They are set to be back in front of a judge in September. Back to you.
$175,000 on the Alternative to Detention program. Allie Bradley, thank you so much. And we're staying on top of breaking news. Protesters are outside Venezuela right now, continuing. All of this is in the aftermath of this year's presidential election. You're taking a live look right now on your screen. Now, Venezuela's opposition and multiple Latin American leaders have refused to recognize Nicolas Maduro's victory in the July 28th vote. They're citing irregularities and claims of electoral fraud. Human Rights Watch reports that as many as 17 people have been killed since those protests began. And the economy is one of the top issues for voters. And now investors are warning of a possible recession ahead of the election. What it could mean for you in your wallet when we come back.
I'm having fun, don't put me down, I'll never let you.
With Allegra, allergies won't hold me back. Allegra starts working 2 times faster than Claritin, and unlike Zyrtec, won't make me drowsy. Nothing beats Allegra. It's the fastest, non-drowsy, 24-hour allergy relief.
I'm Jonathan Lawson, here to tell you about life insurance through the Colonial Penn program. If you're age 50 to 85 and looking to buy life insurance on a fixed budget, remember the 3 Ps.
The 3 what?
The 3 Ps.
What are the 3 Ps?
The 3 Ps of life insurance on a fixed budget are price, price, and price. A price you can afford, a price that can't increase, and a price that fits your budget.
I'm 54 and was a smoker, but quit. What's my price?
You can get coverage for $9.95 a month.
I'm 65, retired, and take medications. What's my price?
Also $9.95 a month.
I just turned 80 and I'm on a fixed income. What's my price?
$9.95 a month for you too. If you're age 50 to 85, call now about the #1 most popular whole life insurance plan available through the Colonial Penn program. Options start at $9.95 a month. That's less than 35 cents a day. You cannot be turned down because of your health. No medical exam, no health questions. Your acceptance is guaranteed. And this plan has a guaranteed lifetime rate lock, so your rate can never go up for any reason. Options start at $9.95 a month. Plus, you get a 30-day money-back guarantee. So call now for free information, and you'll also get this free beneficiary planner. Use this valuable guide to record your important information and give helpful direction to your loved ones with your final wishes. And it's yours free, just for calling. So call now for free information.
Call 1-800-797-8989 for your free information and your free gift. That's 1-800-797-8989. There's no risk or obligation. 1-800-797-8989. Call now.
It's almost time. Verizon Small Business Days are coming, August 5th to the 11th. Meet with our experts, get a free tech check, and special offers. Don't miss out. Get started today.
Do you ever wish you could just think faster again? Are you tired of reaching for names and words during conversations? Trust me, you're not alone. That's why we developed new Doctors Preferred Mindful Advantage, the cutting-edge, science-backed brain health supplement that will help keep your mental edge sharp.
To get your complimentary sample of new Mindful Advantage, just text BRAINY to 321-321.
Mindful Advantage helps you think faster by targeting 5 areas of brain function: attention, learning and memory, language, motor function, and even mood, with 5 key brain-boosting ingredients backed by 5 clinical studies. Don't settle for slowing down. Keep your mind and memory going at full speed with Mindful Advantage.
To get your complimentary sample of new Mindful Advantage, just text BRAINY to 321-321. Text now and we'll send you a bottle of Doctor's Preferred Magnesium absolutely free. Mindful Advantage is not available in stores, so text BRAINY to 321-321.
30 minutes after the hour, fear taking hold off Wall Street after the latest jobs report fell short of expectations. Unemployment rate jumped by 0.2% in July from June, marking the highest level since October 2021. We spoke to Victoria Fernandez, Chief Market Strategist at Crossmark Global Investments, to break down what the weak jobs report actually means. Victoria, we're getting a fresh read on the economy. I want to show up some numbers on the screen. The U.S. adding 114,000 jobs in July, but that's well below what economists had expected. Your reaction to these numbers?
Yeah, you know, I think these numbers probably shouldn't have been as surprising as many people made them out to be. We've had a lot of signs over the last few weeks that the economy has been weakening, especially in the labor market. And earlier in the week, we had manufacturing reports come out where the employment component was really low. We had other jobs reports come out that were telling us job openings were less, the quits rate, you know, how comfortable people felt quitting their jobs and moving on to something new, that had come down to cycle lows. The amount of time it took to rehire someone was taking longer. So there were some clues that there were some cracks in the strength of the labor market that so many people were relying on for the strength of the economy. So the fact, I think, that we came out Friday with a weaker than expected number was kind of the culmination of quite a few signs we've been seeing, and the market reacted accordingly.
Victoria, July's employment rate at 4.3%. Now, this marks the 4th straight month it rose, fueling fears of a broader economic slowdown. What is this an indication of to you, looking at those numbers?
Well, you know, it's interesting because if you look at the estimates that the Fed had put out previously, they showed unemployment being 4% at the end of this year. And so you're right, Friday came out and we were 4.3%. So we're already 1/3% above where they thought we would be at year end. So it's a little bit worrisome that we're seeing unemployment start to gain momentum. Sometimes that's a really hard streak to stop. Once it gets going, it's quite hard to stop that. And the important point that I think the market grabbed onto, I know it's kind of technical, but there's this idea called the SAM rule. And it's basically telling you when unemployment grows at a certain percentage above its low over the last 12 months, it's a signal of recession. And if we didn't hit it exactly, we almost hit it yesterday. And I think that was part of why the market reacted the way it did.
Which is why people are paying such close attention and are worried that it could indicate that a recession is coming. Now, looking at the unemployment rate during President Biden's time in the Oval Office overall, I want to throw up one more full screen for you there. July's unemployment rate is the highest since October 2021. Many fear this is triggering a recession. What do you think is a recession? Is it imminent, Rebecca? Or you're like, nope, Nick, we just need to keep a closer eye on things right now where they stand?
Yeah, I have a colleague that says don't confuse imminent and inevitable. And I think this might be one of those times where we probably will have a larger pullback in the market or a recession coming. Is it imminent right now? I'm not so sure. You look historically and you typically get a low in the market around 200 days after the Fed starts cutting rates. So that puts us more kind of early summer of next year or late spring of next year. Maybe we're looking more towards that timing, but I definitely think the things that we're seeing, higher unemployment rate, consumer weakening, revenues being much lower than expected on a lot of the earnings reports that we have, which means we could see more layoffs coming. All of that is building a case that a recession or a pullback is much more likely than the market and investors thought it was probably 2 to 3 weeks ago.
And J.P. Morgan Chase Chairman Jamie Dimon writing, in fact, in the Washington Post that, quote, the next president must restore our faith in America, unite with regular, honest, and open communication. What are investors watching for in the presidential election, and how will this affect markets?
Yeah, look, the economy is always a huge issue in the presidential elections, and I think it will continue to be. People are suffering. You have grocery bills 30% higher than they were a few years ago. Insurance, house and auto insurance up 125% in my own personal case, more than they were a couple years ago. So they're definitely going to have to address how to bring those prices down, but yet still support with wages. And it's going to be a very fine line, especially when you have a deficit like we have right now. There's going to have to be some cuts in spending somewhere. I don't see it happening right now in Washington, but I'm sure there'll be a lot of debate about it over the next few months.
A lot of debate. Crossmark Global Investments Chief Market Strategist Victoria Fernandez, thank you very much. After legal troubles and scandals, Cuba Gooding Jr. is looking for redemption. He spoke with NewsNation's Dan Abrams on how that's the theme of his new movie.
I won't let my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis symptoms define me.
Emerge as you. With Tremfya, most people saw 90% clearer skin at 4 months, and the majority stayed clearer at 5 years.
Serious allergic reactions may occur. Tremfya may increase your risk of infections and lower your ability to fight them. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms, or if you had a vaccine or plan to.
Emerge as you. Emerge Tremfyant. Ask your doctor about Tremfya.
The best things in life come in twos. 2 scoops of ice cream, 2 thumbs up. And now, buy any phone when you switch to Consumer Cellular and get 2 months of service free. That's right, 2 months free. All with fast, reliable, nationwide coverage. Make the switch today.
Meet the Jennifers. Gen X, Gen Y, and Gen Z. Each planning their future through the Chase mobile app. Gen X is planning a summer in Portugal with some help from JP Morgan Wealth Plan. Let's go, Whiskers. Gen Y is working with a banker to budget for her birthday.
You only turned 30 once.
And Gen Z, her credit's golden. Hello, new apartment. 3 gens getting ahead with Chase. Solutions that grow with you. One bank for now, for later, for life. Chase, make more of what's yours.
Hi, I'm Sally. I'm from Phoenix, Arizona. I'm a flight nurse on a helicopter that specializes in trauma. I've been doing flight nursing for 24 years. I had a fear that I wouldn't be able to keep up. I wanted all the boost I could get. I heard about Prevagen from a friend. I read the clinical study on it, and it had good reviews. I've been taking Prevagen now for 5 years, and it's really helped me stay sharp and present. It's really worked for me.
Prevagen, at stores everywhere without a prescription.
Introducing a brand new kitchen appliance that does all the work for you. A hassle-free solution that sears food, stirs it, even shreds it in one pot that you can set, then forget about, and come back to delicious, perfectly prepared meals that cook up to 60% faster without having to do a thing, except enjoy a little extra free time. From the trusted brand Power Excel, there's the StirMax Multi-Cooker, the revolutionary new countertop appliance with a built-in auto stirrer that gives you the freedom of adding your favorite ingredients and walking away. No more stirring food. StirMax is the one-pot solution that does everything for you. The secret is the unique pot shape and groundbreaking StirMax technology that's automatically programmed to rotate the paddle clockwise, then counterclockwise to help prevent jams and food from burning while infusing flavor. Powerful enough to even shred food. With large 7.5 quart capacity and lightweight, attractive design, the entire pan goes right to the table. StirMax features 9 different cooking functions: saute, slow cook, Cook stews or soups, keep warm, steam and boil, cook risotto or rice. Plus, the multi-step smart presets, Stir Max or Braise Max, that sears and sautés food before automatically switching to simmer. With premium ceramic coating that's BPA, PFOA, and PTFE free, scratch-proof, and won't ever stick. Then the entire pan goes right into the dishwasher. Now, you can try the Power XL Stir Max multi-cooker with tempered glass lid and recipe guide in your home for 30 days for just $14.99. But it gets even better. You also get the entire bonus package absolutely free. You get the steamer and rice basket. For fresh, healthy meals, the Stir Max serving spoon and ladle. It snaps right on top of your Stir Max, plus $100 in free grocery coupons. We'll even ship your order next business day absolutely free. Plus, every Stir Max comes with a 1-year ironclad VIP protection plan and a 90-day money-back guarantee. This is an exclusive TV-only offer, so order now.
Welcome back, 39 minutes after the hour. Academy Award-winning actor Cuba Gooding Jr. said he's confident he will work in Hollywood again. Gooding has been out of the spotlight since he settled a case alleging he raped a woman in New York City a decade ago. The actor said during this time, he's really been leaning into his faith and praying every day. Gooding spoke with NewsNation's Dan Abrams about his legal troubles and his new faith-based film, The Firing Squad.
Is it fair to say that your relationship with Hollywood has changed in the last few years?
Oh, sure. But it's fairer to say that the relationship with Hollywood and the audience has changed ever since the invention of something called the internet. Ever since the fact that, you know, you have these people who were sequestered for 7-8 months during the pandemic, and so they had to go online and find movies that they liked. It wasn't the gatekeepers of Hollywood said, these are the movies now. That's why you can have Barbie and Oppenheimer make $1 billion, and then the third movie make hundreds of millions in Sound of Freedom, which was a faith-based movie. The audiences they go to the theater.
Have you found yourself on a personal level shunned by people you once considered friends or colleagues in any way?
Oh, sure. I mean, listen, as we grow older, we run into people that we haven't seen since we were little. They're like, hey, good to see you. And then you start talking to them, and all of a sudden you go, that's why I'm not friends with that person anymore. It happens. It's called maturity.
So let me just ask you about some of what happened. You pleaded guilty to a forcible touching misdemeanor in 2022, eventually led to a guilty plea of a lesser charge. A year later, you settled a federal civil lawsuit, 2 more civil misconduct lawsuits.
Right.
Can you understand why some would say, don't want to cast this guy?
Sure. But I can also understand some people who come up to me in the street all the time and yell, show me the money, and say, hang in there, and I see what you're going through. You know, you make movies for an audience of people, right? So right now, I'm making a movie for faith-based people who are excited to renew our hope in humanity, especially the times we're in dealing with politics and the world issues that are going on. So that's where I am now. But I also did a movie, you know, where I played Nicky Barnes in American the Gangster, or I played Master Chief Carl Bashir in Men of Honor. Those movies, my military movies, which are my favorite, even Pearl Harbor, those audiences of people hunger for those movies. And now this is the
Let me play a clip. Let me play a clip of your new movie. It's called The Firing Squad.
True story as well.
Well, I'm going to ask you about that, too. Let's play a clip.
You can be in heaven or you can be in hell. The choice is yours.
We're going to walk straight out of here, pretend to be the media.
This pathetic maggot got caught, tried to escape my prison. Nobody escapes my prison.
He's a changed person. He's a new man.
I found Christ in here, and he forgave me.
I found Christ, too.
My name is Peter Loan, and I will be executed in 2 hours.
You said based on a true story?
Yes, sir.
Tell us.
So there was these Americans who went over to Indonesia, and to set the example of people dabbling in drugs over there, they were given the death penalty. And in prison, they met inmates. I play a character that was also sentenced to death. And you know, when they sentence you, it doesn't happen immediately. So you're in there for a few years. And through their journey in this prison before they're executed, they find their faith in God. And it was this script that I wept when I read this end act, the third act of the movie, because I realized that we're all dealing with something. Everybody has a page. be a horrible medical diagnosis or grief, but there's hope. There's hope for us as a world nation. And films like this, I think it's time for films like this. It seems like as a nation we've gotten so far away from God, it's cool to be an atheist. You know, certain comedians and whatnot say these things, but you also need the other side of that. And that's why this movie it's so timely for this movie, for that audience.
Be sure to watch Dan Abrams live right here on NewsNation weeknights at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central. Well, history was made in Paris. U.S. swimmer Katie Ledecky winning more medals than any American woman ever. But that isn't the only big moment for the USA. We have the latest from the Olympics.
In a race like no other, at a convention like no other, trust a network like no other. NewsNation brings you the Democratic National Convention live in Chicago, Monday, August 19th. NewsNation, news for all America.
It's almost time. Verizon Small Business Days are coming, August 5th to the 11th. Meet with our experts, get a free tech check, and special offers. Don't miss out. Get started today.
We need some help.
I know. I'm going to CashNetUSA.com. And if approved, we can have the money in our account as soon as the same business day.
Go to CashNetUSA.com to apply for the money you need.
I'm Jonathan Lawson. If you're 50 to 85, I have an important message about security. Write down the number on your screen so you can call when I finish. The lock I want to talk to you about isn't the one on your door. This is a lock for your life insurance, a rate lock that guarantees that once you're insured, your rate can never go up at any time for any reason. But be careful. Many policies you see do not have one. But you can get a lifetime rate lock from Colonial Penn. Call this number to learn more. This plan was designed with a rate lock for people on a fixed income who want life insurance that fits their budget and is simple to get. Coverage options start at $9.95 a month. Less than 35 cents a day. Act now, and your rate will be locked in for life. It will never increase, guaranteed. This is lifelong coverage that can never be canceled as long as you pay your premiums, guaranteed. And your acceptance is guaranteed, with no health questions. You cannot be turned down because of your health. Call for your information kit and read about this rate lock for yourself. You'll also get a free beneficiary planner. Both are free with no obligation. Don't miss out. Call for information, then decide. Read about the 30-day 100% money-back guarantee. Don't wait. Call this number now.
Call now and you'll also get this free beneficiary planner. Use this valuable guide to record important information and your final wishes. And it's yours free just for calling. So don't wait. Call 1-800-377-5321 for your free information. That's 1-800-377-5321. There's no risk or obligation. That number again is 1-800-377-5321. That's 1-800-377-5321. So call now.
Wait, Noom can design a personalized weight loss plan for me? Whoa.
I'm vegan. I have high cholesterol. Does Noom have plans for us?
Noom's plans can be personalized for both your needs.
How about Dad bod?
Get your personalized plan today at Noom.com.
Do you ever wish you could just think faster again? Are you tired of reaching for names and words during conversations? Trust me, you're not alone. That's why we developed new Doctors Preferred Mindful Advantage, the cutting-edge, science-backed brain health supplement that will help keep your mental edge sharp.
To get your complimentary sample of new Mindful Advantage, just text Brainy to 321-321.
Mindful Advantage helps you think faster by targeting 5 areas of brain function: attention, learning and memory, language, motor function, and even mood, with 5 key brain-boosting ingredients backed by 5 clinical studies. Don't settle for slowing down. Keep your mind and memory going at full speed with Mindful Advantage.
To get your complimentary sample of new Mindful Advantage, just text Brainy to 321-321. Text now and we'll send you a bottle of Doctor's Preferred Magnesium absolutely free. Mindful Advantage is not available in stores, so text BRAINY to 321-321.
I was late. Welcome back. New today, Olympic gymnast Simone Biles winning her 10th career Olympic medal, her 7th gold. She won the women's vault final for a second time. Another big win for the U.S. women's gymnastic team. We won gold in the all-around team final on Tuesday, followed by a gold for Biles and a bronze for Suni Lee in the individual all-around competition on Thursday. And things are heating up in Paris. Team USA dominating the leaderboard in swimming with 21 medals so far. Katie Ledecky becoming the most decorated U.S. female Olympian of all time with 13 medals. Let's bring in someone who knows a thing or two about swimming at the Olympic level, 4-time Olympic gold medalist Lenny Kreiselberg. Lenny, as a former Olympian, what's your take on Team USA's dominance in Paris so far?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me. It's definitely very exciting to be sitting in front of TV and just watching how dominant the Team USA has been. And it's, you know, for me, that's been in the sport for so long, not really surprising, because we've always been very strong and, you know, we raise up to the occasion, especially at the Olympic Games. There's something about representing your country, representing the United States. And it's obviously showing in the pool when our team is swimming.
Lenny, I was watching a little bit of it this morning before I came in, you know, just watching the guys, and I know that there was just a lot of tension around things I didn't even notice. Like, even when you all are doing that butterfly, you can't let your feet separate. I'm like, wait a minute, what? I'm just trying to make it to the other side of the pool. There's so many technicalities that go into this. So as you watch these professionals, as you watch these guys in the pool and these gals in the pool, who are you rooting for on the USA swimming team?
Well, it's really, sometimes you look kind of between the lines, just actually when they're on the starting blocks, right? To see how, you know, how their energy is resonating, how they compose, are they nervous, are they shaking? I mean, a lot of times you can look at their body language way before they actually jump in the water to see if they're going to be ready. Also, depending on the distance, you can see whether, you know, they're over swimming or overworking the first part of the race, and that could really affect what they do towards the end of the race. Are they going to have any energy left to finish it? So there's a lot of signs, little things that you can watch for, you know, from my experience, obviously being in the sport for so long and being able to, you know, to notice things like that. It all matters, because for those that have been watching closely swimming, you see, I mean, we're talking about hundredths of a second difference in terms of making it, you know, to the medal pedestal and not having the opportunity to have a medal at the Olympic Games. And hundredths of a second, that's a length of a nail.
And all of the work. And all of the work you guys put into it to get to that moment, for it all to come down to that millionth of a second there. Talk to me quickly, though, Lenny, about the hard work that goes into making the Olympics. We know about the training, we know about the discipline, but is there pressure added when you just mentioned how, hey, I may have been going out too hard in the first leg of this race. I've got to pace myself but still stay competitive to the people I'm seeing every time I come out of the water, looking to my left and to my right?
Yeah, you know, what you see, kind of the end product, doesn't actually do justice of all the work that you have to put in at, you know, every day in training. It isn't just about training. It isn't about all the work you put in. It's also being a student of your sport. It's also learning the tendencies of your competitors, understanding how your competitors are swimming their races, expecting that someone in lane 3 next to you is going to go out fast, but they usually struggle coming back at the end of the race. So not getting too caught up swimming their race, but focusing on your race, your plan. And all of that matters. And all of that happens every day, right? In practices, visualization, thinking about it, laying in bed, closing your eyes and imagining that this is how I'm going to swim my race. This is what to expect. This is what your competitors are going to do. It really is a full-time job.
Lenny, you've watched the sport change over the years. What has you most excited about where swimming has come as a sport?
Well, you look at someone like Leon Marchand, and you look at the times he's swimming, and you also see some of the, you know, the females that are swimming really well, the backstrokers. It just, you know, you need one person to show that it's possible, and then the rest of the world kind of catches up. I remember back when I swam, I broke a world record in 1999, and I was about 3 seconds faster than the rest of the competitors. And then within the next, 4 to 5 years, people started to, creep up there and get up to my time. So you need one person is to pave the way, right? In anything in life, we always see a pioneer in various walks of life that shows that it's possible, and then everyone else catches up.
Well, Lenny,
and we have people here.
Lenny, if it makes you feel better, know that I can do the 50-meter in about 7 minutes. So there you go.
It's all about giving your best.
Oh, there you go. Oh, that was diplomatic. 4-time Olympic gold medalist in swimming, Lenny Krayzelberg. Lenny, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate
Absolutely, sir. Now to our weekly tradition of covering some of the news you may have missed this week. We give Lee Harris 2 minutes, 22 seconds, and he gives us the world.
It's been another super busy week around here at News Nation, so let's get caught up on some of the stories that might have gotten lost in the sauce. A guy in Kyrgyzstan went all out when he proposed to his fiancée and wound up in jail as a result. His fiancée is the beauty queen niece of President Sadur Japarov, who took great offense at this fellow using a government helicopter as part of what the president called an embarrassingly ostentatious proposal. The would-be groom was locked up on drug charges. That means the wedding could be postponed for a very long time. Japan's been having a hard time keeping up its birth rate. It is well below replacement level. So the city of Tokyo is stepping in with a government-sponsored dating app. Users have to verify their income, prove that they're unmarried, sit for an interview, and sign a statement saying they're intent on getting married. Or maybe they'll just go back to Tinder. That's not the only problem in Japan. They're also dealing with the plague of foreigners riding around the streets on motorized suitcases, which can travel at up to 8 miles an hour. In Japan, they're technically classified as motor vehicles, and you need a license to drive one, at least on the street. In other motoring news, here comes the Snitchmobile. Ford has reportedly filed a patent on technology that can detect nearby cars breaking the speed limit and potentially report them to the police. Some of the early customer feedback on this is not very good, so perhaps it'll go the way of an earlier Ford plan to develop cars that repossess themselves. In Ohio, Gregory Stroll got tired of waiting for his town to fill in the potholes on the streets of his neighborhood, so he helpfully marked them with spray paint to point them out and help drivers avoid them. For his trouble, he was arrested on charges of committing criminal mischief in the 3rd degree. The village administrator says what Gregory did was no better than graffiti. AI-generated pictures of a sofa shaped like a gorilla started showing up online, and the excitement was such that a Chinese factory started taking orders for the sofas. Only one problem: the sofas didn't actually exist. And when the factory tried to make the sofas, well, they didn't look much like the original pictures. But if you don't mind and you've got 10 grand you don't know what to do with, you can get one on Amazon. And that's your 222.
Hey, I want my gorilla sofa. Well, that's it for News Nation Live. I'm Nick Smith. Thank you so much for letting me into your home today. We'll be back tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 Central, right here after The Hill. So I want to see you here. All right, we have more news for all America after the break.
This summer, Subway is making snacking history. First, epic foot-long cookies, churros, and pretzels. Now, all new $3 foot-long dippers.
Is there a Hall of Fame for snacks?
Find your perfect foot-long snack at Subway today.
I'm lucky. I found the one thing that I was put on this earth to do. And every day, as I inch one step closer to my vision, it reminds me that making it in life is all about the making.
At Ram, our calling is to build trucks. So when you find your calling, nothing can stop you from answering it.
Now, during the Ram Make This the Summer event, get $2,000 bonus cash allowance on select 2024 Ram pickup trucks and vans in dealer stock. See your Ram dealer today.
The following is based on reality. You may be offended.
Please help me.
When you fall and cannot get up, an accident can turn into a tragedy. With Life Alert, one touch of a button can get you help fast.
This is Life Alert. I'm calling for help right now.
With any of Life Alert's 3 emergency systems, help can be summoned immediately. And batteries never need charging. Life Alert saves a life from a catastrophe every 11 minutes.
For a free Life Alert brochure, call 1-800-559-8882. That's 1-800-559-8882. Call now, 1-800-559-8882.
Moving forward with node-positive breast cancer, my fear of recurrence could have held me back. But I'm staying focused and doing more to prevent recurrence.
Verzenio is specifically for HR-positive, HER2-negative, node-positive early breast cancer with a high chance of returning as determined by your doctor when added to hormone therapy. Verzenio reduces the risk of recurrence versus hormone therapy alone. Diarrhea is common, may be severe, or cause dehydration or infection. At the first sign, call your doctor, start an antidiarrheal, and drink fluids. Before taking Verzenio, tell your doctor about any fever, chills, or other signs of infection. Verzenio may cause low white blood cell counts, which may cause serious infection that can lead to death. Life-threatening lung inflammation can occur. Tell your doctor about any new or worsening trouble breathing, cough, or chest pain. Serious liver problems can happen. Symptoms include fatigue, appetite loss, stomach pain, and bleeding or bruising. Blood clots that can lead to death have occurred. Tell your doctor if you have pain or swelling in your arms or legs, shortness of breath, chest pain, and rapid breathing or heart rate, or if you are nursing, pregnant, or plan to be.
I'm focusing on what counts.
Talk to your doctor about reducing your risk.
When you're the leader in disaster cleanup and restoration, how do you make like it never even happened happen? Let it rain, Randy! Woo! Yes! By being prepared for anything! Woo! Whatever comes your way, there's a pro for that.
Serve Pro, like it never even happened.
As a gynecologist, I'm embarrassed to say this. We use deodorant on our armpits, and we kind of make women feel bad about body odor that they get on other parts of our body. That's why I created Lumi Whole Body Deodorant for pits, privates, and beyond. It's clinically proven to block odor all day, controls odor for 72 hours. Soap can't do that. And since your pits and privates go everywhere you go, keep them confidently fresher with Lumi. That reassurance is priceless. To learn more, go to lumideo.com.